Hey, what's going on, family? So, I just wanted to drop a quick video today, and I had something on my spirit that I wanted to talk about, and God's been trying to put things into perspective for me these days. This year, He's been talking to me about certain things, right? And there's a big misconception that a lot of people have during their awakening, and when they truly begin to separate or isolate themselves from the world, from the old habits, from the old beliefs, from the old people, or from the old negative mindsets, right? So, one thing that God showed me in my own life was that, a lot of times when we think something is the enemy, a lot of times it's God molding us. What you have to understand is even when the enemy attacks, God has to allow it. And also you have to allow it. Because you're made in the image of God. You are made in the likeness of God. And you have power like Jesus. In the Bible, Jesus says something about that he wanted to show us the power that he had, and there would be men after him that would have even greater power. It says that right in the Bible, right? And what I want you to understand is every single king in the Bible went through heavy warfare, heavy attacks. And what I found was a lot of times the attacks, some attacks that we think are the enemy, are actually God molding us. Certain things that you have come into your life. And what you have to understand is any time that you seek the kingdom, any time that you seek greatness with intention, it's always followed by disruption. A lot of times God has to break you in order to make you. And since I love fitness and working out, I like to use this analogy a lot. If you think about it in a fitness aspect, when you first start working out, you get really, really sore after you work out. It's breaking down of the muscle fibers to rebuild it stronger. And I think it's awesome how God made everything intertwined, how he made everything connected. All people, places, things, and objects are all connected in one type of way. So life works the same way as when you're building anything, whether that be your character, whether that be your mindset, whether that be your spirit, right? And, you have to understand that sometimes when you have a high calling, a high purpose on your life, and you truly have a big vision for yourself and for God, when you allow God's will to be done, and you stop just only focusing on what you want for yourself, but more or less you focus more on what God wants for you and what job that he has for you in order to help other people, in order to help bring other people to the kingdom, and in order to elevate yourself to your highest potential. So one thing that I really want you to understand is you need to, when you are hyper focused on a goal, when you are hyper focused on a mission, understand that first it's going to, break you down to make you. That is God molding you to rebuild you back up stronger than ever before. And that's why a lot of people turn away from God. because in the world, when you're moving around doing whatever you want to do, it's easy. The devil will give you small blessings and small things that will keep you on a path of destruction. But in the end, it never truly satisfies you. In the end, you truly always feel as if something's missing. And that thing that you're missing is not only God, but it is your purpose and God's purpose that he has for you. And that's something that I try to do with people that I help out and people that I coach. I try to help them to first break themselves down, level themselves up mentally, spiritually, and physically. That way they can then lock in on what God's purpose is for them. And in order to do that, what I found in my own life was I had to truly put myself in alignment and raise my vibration as high as I could so that I could be closer to my purpose. When I raise my vibration from low vibration to high vibration, I now can have a better connection with God. I now have my mind, my body, and my internal being on a high vibration. And only then can I truly begin to move in my full potential, in my full power, and I can truly be a vessel for God. Right? And that's what I understood. And that is also what God just keeps showing me. He keeps trying to tell me that sometimes you think that because it's hard, it means that it's the enemy attacking. And sometimes that anxiety or sometimes that depression is actually God putting something on your spirit to let you know that he's trying to get you to move. He's trying to get you to act. That any object that stays stagnant, it will manifest any internal feelings that you have, any internal energy or hurt or pain that you have. And I explained this to somebody that I was talking to as well on a call, that if you aren't fully healed and you have these old things that you have bottled up into your spirit, right? If you are too stagnant and you're not, that's why I believe working out is a spiritual aspect. Like working out can truly raise your vibration. And what it does is it takes all that negative energy, that negative emotions, that heartbreak, that pain, that anything that you had been through, and it channels it into a positive direction, which in return, you reap what you sow. In return, because you're taking the negative and using it for good, then you are awarded in direct proportion of the energy put out. So if you're taking the negative emotions, the negative energy, the heartbreak, the setbacks, the betrayals, anything that people have done to you, or even the enemy trying to attack you when it is the enemy, because I'm not going to say that the enemy can't attack you. The enemy will attack you with things that have been generational curses on your life, like alcoholism, with drug addiction, with lust. God's not going to attack you with these things. Those aren't of God. But certain things that may be happening around you could very well be God trying to push you into the person that you need to be. Because what you have to understand is us as humans are hard-headed, especially me. I was very hard-headed growing up. I came from the streets. I came from a place of poverty. I came from a place with no family, no structure. No father. Lost my mother at an early age, and I was roaming the streets wild in the wilderness as a child. So I truly had to become hard-headed and molded into this hard, savage type of person to survive out there. Which it ended up being a great thing because it gave me that hard, savage mentality. And then when I actually got closer to God, I could use that in order to slay fear, but I could do it in a righteous way. And that's one of the moments where I realized that I was taking the hurt, the pain that was bottled up inside of me, and I was using it for energy to elevate. I was using it for energy to prosper. If I could take that heartbreak that I endured, if I could take that loneliness and I could go to the gym and lock in and get my aggression out and raise my vibration in there, becoming my highest self and staying locked in on my goal, keeping my word to myself. These are all things that are godlike. When you're trying to set a goal for yourself, and you tell yourself that maybe you want to start eating healthy and you want to start hitting the gym and raising your vibration and getting your body in a spot you want it to be at, getting your temple right. When you set these goals for yourself, every single time that you follow your word, you're raising your vibration, you're raising your mental strength, your mental capacity, your ability to prosper. And then you just keep building that like building blocks. And that's also why, every time that you betray your own word, why it has a toll on your spirit, it has a toll on your mindset. Take it like as in, see, when I was younger or a few years ago, I dealt with, a doctor had me on medicine, prescribed medicine. It was pain medicine that I had got prescribed to me because when I used to fight in the cage, I tore my shoulder and I was in a lot of pain and I got surgery. So he prescribed me this medicine, right? Well, after I was healed, I was addicted to this medicine. My body was reliant on this medicine. And every single time that I in my heart, in my spirit, I wanted to quit. But it was something that had me bound. And every single time I told myself that I was going to quit, and I fell back on that, and we can do this in our lives. We're not going to be perfect on our walk with God. We're not going to be perfect on our path. We're going to slip. We're going to fall. We're going to make mistakes. And every time you do that, if you notice, whenever you fall short, you have that conviction where you feel bad, where you feel not good about yourself. And that's a good thing, though. You have to understand that if you keep falling and you keep resorting back to your old ways and you don't have that conviction, that's very bad. That's a thing that you can really have to worry about in your life. But if you fall short and you have that conviction, that means that God's still working through you, that he's still trying to show you this is not you. This is not who you are. This is not your purpose. You're better than this. Your internal, your spirit, your that voice that you have, that when your spirit right here, that gut instinct, when it talks to you and tells you, I shouldn't be doing this. That's the authentic voice of God, your consciousness. Your consciousness is the authentic voice of God. And every time you follow that consciousness and you continue to chop away at the things you're not supposed to do, and you continue to follow that path of your consciousness, which is God speaking to your spirit, you continue to level up higher and higher and higher. So I just want people to understand that, that was something that I had to learn on my journey, that, anytime that I follow God with intention, anytime I'm trying to find my purpose, that there is going to be hardships put in front of me, because God has to mold you, because the walk with God and the walk in your purpose and leveling up and becoming the highest version of yourself is not easy. You have to completely break down the old version of yourself and completely step into the new version of yourself. And it's not that easy. Like, it's not a quick process. It's a process of continuing to hit your goals and hit your ambitions and get closer to God, and every single day and every single step that you take just keeps building on to that character, keeps building on to that person. And eventually you raise your vibration so high that you're moving just like God. You're moving like Jesus. You're moving in the likeness of him. You begin to feel powerful. You begin to feel unbreakable, unshakable. So if you're going through a season of lack, if you're going through a season where it seems like you're trying so hard, but it seems like you're not getting anywhere, understand that this is part of the process. Understand that you're in the molding stage and that you just got to keep pressing forward. You got to keep striving for excellence. You got to keep telling yourself that every single time that the hardship comes to me, or my back's against the wall, or I see a hurdle, every single time that I view it in a way that I'm being molded, that I am getting a test from God to level up to the next level, then it's going to help you to understand that when these attacks come, that you always had the power. You always had the power to overcome. You just got to see the lesson that God's trying to show you. There's a lesson in every hurt. There's a lesson in every setback. And every single time that you can prosper past that, you start to raise your vibration to a level that makes you unbreakable. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. So I just want to drop this message on you guys today, man. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and a good work week. You know, and like I always like to say, stay focused, stay positive, stay blessed. I love y'all. And if you want to set anything up, my email will be down in the description. I thank anybody who gives me super thanks, that sows into the kingdom. And always remember to keep the kingdom mindset, y'all. Salute.